I don't know how the payment of sneakers arrives.
No idea. I just chose the better option.
Yes. Hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cards Against Complexity. Today with Anu from GoCardless. We'll introduce you in a second. This is our financial services season, and GoCardless is one of the largest financial services players and fintechs out there. Anu leads customer service there now for a few years and has a very interesting background that we'll talk about in a second. Coming from engineering and the software company into fintech. All the way through customer service. But maybe before we get started, Anu, would love to get a few words about you. Would love to get to know you. What brought you to Go Cardless, and why you're still hanging out in customer support after all?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and I'm looking forward to this conversation. So, my name is Anuradha Deshpande and I'm Director of Customer Operations at GoCardless. So, we're a global fintech company that specializes in bank to bank payment, and our mission is to take the pain out of getting paid so customers can focus on what they do the best. So, we cater to use spectrum of customers, right from the independent coffee vendors to the
Mhm.
huge enterprises like DocuSign, Plum, Klarna, and so on. So I ended up in GoCardless because of it being a great fintech and also a huge, it was on a growth trajectory as well. So I wanted to make sure that I learn from this brilliant company, the organization that GoCardless is. And of course, it's the fintech world that really intrigued me to learn about because I don't have fintech background, and it was a great experience. And last 4 years I've been here, and I'm learning new thing each day, every day.
And that's, I mean, 4 years and more than 4 years in a fintech company is probably a lifetime, I would assume. There's
Absolutely.
lots that happens in that time. We'll dive into this in a second. Before we do that, I mean, in the end, this podcast is called Cards Against Complexity, and before we get started with the conversation, we always play around. So I'll share with you the screen in a second.
Hmm.
Let me know if you can see it, and then I had a peek. I saw a few of those cards before.
Hmm.
I'll open for everyone who doesn't know this game yet. Cards Against Complexity, similar to Cards Against Humanity. I'll open a card in a second, and there's three cards on the right. These are the options for Anu for you to choose from. They're not potentially not perfect options for the sentence, but we'll see how we complete this. So here's the card. Let's see. GoCardless lands a new customer. Great, congratulations. But they request a new feature. So this is where it gets interesting. They want customers to pay them only in physical gold bars, rare Pokemon cards, or limited edition sneakers. New payments
Ooh,
for GoCardless. Now, which one is it?
I would say limited edition sneakers.
Why did you choose that one?
It's just a young company, so it's just a lot of youngsters around. Sneakers much more relate with everyone. So
The Pokemon cards are actually something I grew up with, and now my kids start checking them out again. I think that's something definitely. If it's a bit of a teenage crowd, I would say, then we would have that physical gold bars. Yeah, it's a bit the old old age. Although see people investing into gold again, but that's a different conversation. So, limited edition sneakers. That's your new payment. How would you design this even on a screen? And then what does the customer service call? Look for this. Like, my sneakers. I don't know how the payment of sneakers arrives.
no idea. I just chose the better option.
Yes. But limited edition sneakers, I mean, some people really value them, and I guess that's a lot of people value money. Some people value sneakers. Everybody values great customer service, and customer service is so. I mean, we talked to a few financial services teams now. So important as part of financial services. So
Absolutely.
important for the trust, for compliant operations, for it all working very well at scale with
Yeah.
GoCardless doing this even for merchants, for large partners, even more at stake. So let's talk a bit about it. What does it take to drive great customer service? And I would like to take today in perspective from an engineer's mind, because in the end, you're trained as an engineer in customer service.
Correct. Correct.
So, what does it take to make great customer service if you're looking at it as an engineer, almost like at a system, I guess?
Yeah. So it's very critical that we see the product from the customer's perspective, what it is to the customer. So it's very important to understand that. And it's very important as a customer service, representative agent, it's very critical for me to be that voice of customer within the business. So with my background of engineering, it really helps me understand that how important it is that your product is what customer wants.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we try our level best to make sure we do that within GoCardless. And us as a team are always about giving that voice back to the business. And not only just with the voice back, but with the impact as well. So, how much does it impact us in operations? How much does it impact the customers? So, once you give the complete story to the engineers, it's much more easier for them to make that decision, prioritize that, because being an engineer, I understand how tricky it is with the various priorities that comes from operations team, from go to market, from everywhere else basically, and also with the competitors, right? We keep up with the competitors. So how do we ensure that we are taking into consideration all these aspects and making that right choice? So as a customer support agent, we try customer support team, we try to ensure that we are bringing that voice, but with that clear impact. So I understand from both sides because being an developer before, I understand how hard it is to make the right decision to what goes into the sprint, what goes into the product. So it's very critical that
Yeah.
that both lenses are applied to it.
So, and for you, that's very natural because you were trained in this
Yeah.
and you understand the other side. How do you ensure that the rest of the team gets it as well? Like they get, I mean, you have a technical product, right? Like they get the product in the first place and then they get where things need to be improved. I
Mm.
guess a customer is loud, but then they
Yeah.
also get how to talk to engineers and how to talk to product teams.
Because the team is fairly big, we need to ensure that there is a structure in place
How big
to
is the team
listen.
just for everyone so that they have a bit of context?
We have around 50. In total, we are around 40 to 50 people in the
Hmm.
team looking after the customer base,
Hmm.
entire customer base that we have. So, yeah, it's very important that we provide them the opportunity to voice their requests and bring that back to the product teams and
Hmm.
with the right impact.
Yeah.
So they can make that decision.
Yeah. And so let's say I'm a person first day on your team, right? Obviously, I learn a bit. I interact with the software. I learn from a few requests. What does it like? What do I need to go through? What kind of learning do I need to go through that I'm actually able to provide product features? Is there something that you want people to do so that they can do it, or is there something they need to learn? Like, what's the development? At which point do you think people are ready to do this, so to say?
Yes, yes, yes. Like as in the support, right? So
Hmm.
so we have a very structured onboarding program, which because we need to take into consideration that people might not have the fintech experience. How do we make it in a way that we include that into the onboarding as well?
Yeah.
So we have a very structured onboarding program where it's a mixture of classroom training plus of course the practical learning as well. So they
Hmm.
get to do shadowing, reverse shadowing. They can understand how the job is done actually, and what do they need to learn from it. And we have this very clear expectation set with them, what we expect from them, and the base thing is we need to support them throughout the journey,
Hmm.
and take them through it so that they are ready to work with our customers.
Yeah.
So it's a very rigorous program, but also we are trying to keep it very practical as well because it can't be just doing something on your own. It has to be classroom training plus self study plus some practical training as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to start in a startup and then learn a bit the early days and just on the job how it goes. It's something else to jump in at a stage that GoCardless is at right now to understand everything and then even, I mean, the bar is very high to then even give feedback to the product team. But that's great. It feels like if you're a part of that team and that works, that's a real end-to-end customer support
Yeah,
responsibility with, as what you said, real impact on the
yeah,
product, on the customers, on the team. Really cool to hear. Now, you've been in support for quite some time, right? And it's been,
yes,
I assume, behind everyone that's been in any role for some time, there's quite a journey. Yours
Yes,
started in engineering, but there's probably a bit more to it. Can you tell us a bit more about your journey into
of course.
customer service?
Yeah,
And I think most recently you talked about this as well with Zendesk. I think you were on a panel.
yeah.
Give us a bit of an insight in there, because I think it's super inspiring and insightful for other customer service leaders, maybe with similar backgrounds or different backgrounds, actually to learn from what you did, because in the end the service and the customer and the agent is always human, and so the human story behind this is really really important.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. So, as you know, I started my journey. I did my education in customer applications. I did my master's in computer application, and then I started working as a developer and was working for a few years as a
Hmm.
developer. But as a developer, I had an opportunity to do a production support, and we were supporting a code change, and I really enjoyed my time where
Yeah.
I was working with the team that was actually supporting the customers, and my
What?
job was to ensure they understand the product, and they are supporting it in the right, effective way. But I really enjoyed that part, and I could see myself really. Um, how do I explain this? Like really using my potential to the best.
I see your eyes lighting up. Like, what was so fun, so enjoyable about
I
this?
think it's the at the bottom of it, it's the problem solving, and at the
Hmm.
bottom of it, it's working with people, because
Yeah.
that's where I think I shine the most. I feel I
Hmm.
really do my best when I'm with people. I'm working with people. Community is big for me,
Hmm.
and that's where it's very critical for me to. And I realize that, and I think, of course, everybody, including my parents, were like questioning me, like, "Are you sure you did you trained yourself to be a developer, and now you want to move into a in like a support role?"
Yeah.
But I was very this time I was very clear.
Yeah.
So I moved my journey into the customer world, started as a technical support engineer,
Hmm.
which meant I still had the technical aspect where I could do the SQL query coding and all of that,
Yeah.
as part of a company based in Cambridge. And then I then enjoyed again people development. That was another thing that really inspired me.
Hmm.
And that's when I took on the journey. It wasn't very easy, to be honest, to start with, because coming from a very different country where my upbringing was very different, coming to UK was was different. I was a woman with color, so
Hmm.
that had its own challenges for myself to overcome with, but also to for a long time I was the only woman in the team,
Okay.
because not many technical, um, people who take technical roles um, in UK. I was that was a quite a what do I say system a shock to my system, because in India you have lots of women in technology. So it
Yeah.
was very new for me to not see anybody,
Yeah.
not see many people. So for a long time I was just the only one, only
Hmm.
female on the team. Um, but that made me realize that it's very important that I make the space when I have the opportunity to do so, and make the space for other women and support them through their journey as well. So this is where I think I could see that I could make a huge impact. And yeah, I had amazing 12 years in my previous organization where I could build my team with equal opportunity for everyone,
Hmm.
and then moved on. Now, last 4 years, I've been in GoCardless. GoCardless is a very um, a company which understands that very much, values that very much, and which makes the journey much more easier. So we have right focus on diversity. We have right focus on women, um, and other genders as well. So we are very much focused on that. So it makes
Hmm.
my life easy as well, to be very honest. And wherever I have my career moving forward as well, I will ensure that happens. And it's very important to support each other. As I said to you, my focus is on community,
Hmm.
building the community and supporting. So I will ensure that I will keep striving towards that and help other women also to make their career and support them wherever I can in my own way.
Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, it's also a unique story. It's an important story, I think, to tell. And I'm very sure this, like, people listening and will be inspired by this. And I think my like, what if I were someone early in my career, right? And I maybe this resonates with me, and I'm saying this is where I want to be. One option is join your team, right? So that's easy. Then you get the
I would
support.
love that.
That's one, and I'm sure GoCardless looks for people left and right. But outside of that, like jokes aside, like if like your younger self in a similar setting, or somebody now bit earlier in their career, what would be your advice if they don't have you, like, but they're maybe that first the first one on the team,
Mhm.
or they're right now in a difficult situation? What's your advice for them to get that perspective and get to, in the end, where you are today?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think I would, one advice definitely I would give myself is to speak up more. Um, Sometimes you don't have to worry about the how it will be taken on, what are the consequences. You have to say, you be authentic, be you basically, be
Hmm.
authentic, and just say what you feel like. And it's very important to be, because the others will appreciate as well. Sometimes they are not aware that that's the impact it's having, and you need to ensure that you tell that impact because you feel it. You need to ensure that you are sharing that, because that's how you build great teams. That vulnerability, that honesty, that trust is very critical to build any teams and build any relationship. So it's just speak up is what I will say myself, because there were times I thought that, am I saying the right thing?
Hmm.
But then someone else would say it and I will just regret. So that's not right. Just make sure you make your mark and say what you feel like and what you think is right. So I will definitely, that's the advice I will give anybody around as well.
Anu, those are beautiful closing remarks, I would say. Thank you so much for sharing this insight. I think it's as with many things learned in a career, simplicity can be the profound lies in the simple, and I think this is something like very clear to take away for everyone else. Otherwise, also maybe check out Anu's team, and maybe there's a way to get into this team that sounds like the right spot to be in. And otherwise, thanks so much for sharing your journey. I think also the technical aspects of thinking in engineering terms, thinking in product and impact terms, as an extension of the customer service and support role that we're in every day. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope everyone else did. And for the role for the game Cards Against Complexity, well, we've got sneakers today, so maybe that's something to consider as a product input for your team. They will know where this is coming from now. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time,
you. Thank you
and
for having me.
all the best for the journey ahead. It's been already an exciting many years, and look forward to following along as well.
Thank you so much.